Hello, my lovely. So, Ingrid here on International Wild Women's Day. so, I thought to myself, what am I going to talk about today? There are so many things always like rushing around in my mind. And it's like, what is the main thing I want to focus on today for International Wild Women's Day? And for me today, I want to holler to those women who, what I call budding free spirits. So you have the free spirits, you have the likes of me, like we're out there kind of thing. I sometimes feel I was just kind of born this way because I never understood the rules. Do you know what I mean? In fact, I didn't get into very recently why I didn't fit in. Do you know what I mean? I've only realised that recently. But I don't. That's another topic for another day, and I'll talk about that on another post. So I think for people like myself who've always been like this, it's less of a like, oh, well done you, Ingrid, for like living your truth and, being your full, emotional, powerful, full of love, deep feeling self. I think I want to holler the budding free spirits more so because we're all born free, okay? We're all born to be bountiful, to be loved, to be magnificent, to have that fire sort of like flaming inside of us. But life sucks it out of us. Do you know what I mean? I actually say from age 6, and I should have unleashed my poem today fully, which touches a lot on that. But I won't be doing that today. But life slowly sucks it out of us, doesn't it? And stuffs our souls, which is another bit of my poem, stuffs our souls into plastic mannequins and oppresses us and binds us and puts us in chains and makes us become captivated, so to speak. But more and more, this is changing, especially amongst the young. And this is exciting for me because for many years, I just felt like I was on my own. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't until probably about 15 years ago, maybe a bit less than that, I did a talk at Google Campus. And I realised that my audience and those who resonated with me were half my age. So the younger generation are kicking ass now. They're less, they're less restrained by these rules of what they say it takes to be a woman, which is pink and passive and perfect, and there's no soul. Do you know what I mean? So, but more and more now, and I've seen it. I've seen the changes in people's posts. I've seen it around me, what have you. Women are questioning these rules that they say make us a woman, which really just oppresses us. So I want to holler those women who, like, they're just beginning to maybe stick their finger out, like that's the cage, that's the cage, and they're just like popping a little finger out. Do you know what I mean, darling? They're beginning to question. They're beginning to drop that facade, drop that persona, which just really contains all their awesomeness. Bit by bit, they're beginning to do that and beginning to tap into their original, authentic, awesome self. And to me, this is what I think International Women's Day should be about. It's about celebrating those women who are breaking free and living life as their original, authentic self, connected to their soul and being all who they were put on this earth to be. Does that make sense, my lovely? So big shout out to you. I would say the most important thing in this journey is your well-being. Do you know what I mean? And if you're coming out, so to speak, being your true authentic self, like do it step by step. What you don't want to be doing is exploding and then like succumbing to like drugs and alcohol, that kind of thing. My main thing I'd say is to protect your well-being, because the moment you start going against the grain, going against the norm and being who you want to be, the executioners are coming in. You already have the executioners in your mind, and then you have the executioners outside of you who are going to want to tear you down, who are going to want to put you back into line. Do you know what I mean? And I always say, something I always say to my son, people spend so many of their years unhappy because they're scared about what other unhappy people are going to think. These things don't make sense to me, all right? But they will. The moment you go to live your truth. I listened to a video yesterday, and the guy there was saying that, when he wanted to become a comedian, for example, in fact, that was in his heart, in his soul, and everyone being like, you're not even funny. How are you going to make a living being a comedian? Blah, blah, blah. They will quickly want to bring you back in. It's their own fears and what have you, and that's a whole new topic for another day. So my thing is, I think is your well-being, your mental health and your mental well-being. That must be protected like a fortress. So with me, it's nature. That's how I keep out of that noise in my head, keep away from the noise of people around me, and realign with the earth. You will have your own thing that brings you peace. But that, I'd say, is the number one thing, because if your well-being's intact, your mental health intact, you can keep going. Do you know what I mean? You can fight back. You can stand back up again from those falls. And there will be falls, because of course there'll be many lessons to learn along the way. But there's nothing more fulfilling, more exciting, more juicy, more that will bring you more joy and inner happiness than being free and being your true, authentic self. I love you. Happy International Wild Women's Day.